So here's a question: have you guys hit any animals this summer with your
Hit?
vehicles? Yeah,
Oh.
Yes,
roadkill.
I
Wait, we haven't
actually-
even started.
I-
We should save this.
and-
well,
and-
should we?
No,
Should we
Andrew,
start with
I want,
roadkill and
Yeah.
murder? Animal
Andrew,
murder?
I want you to tell me your story
Sure, yeah.
and
But after
visceral
the intro.
detail.
Then go.
Go.
Welcome to Brian's Attic. I'm Brian.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Caleb,
And this is our first audio-only podcast.
and Andrew's gonna tell us in visceral detail or describe in visceral detail his roadkill incident.
Well, so Caleb was asking if any of us had hit any animals this summer, and at first I thought he just meant like a general animal abuse, and I was worried that he was going to tell us of his nascent rise of serial killing, and like that would be like the prologue chapter, and he's trying to see if he's found any compatriots. But then I
consider
realized he was just
people
talking
to
about
be
roadkill.
animals.
Shut up. So anyway,
wasn't roadkill
I was
in our first episode?
What? No, I don't think we...
No, we
the
didn't.
running
That
of the
was later.
squirrels.
No,
That
that
was
was later. That was
later.
later. But I did hit like a flock of birds.
So I'm
I-
not the only one.
Yeah, I know. I
Okay.
was like, yeah, you're not alone. Finally, I don't know. Like, I don't remember like the circumstances behind it. All I remember was that like I think I was in some unfamiliar area, and I was just like, all right, get me out. I want to go home. I'm done. And then like I just turned, and like this flock of birds just feels bad, man. But they all
Did it
got
stick in the
stuck up in
grill?
my grill. They got up in my grill.
Did it? Was it like on the way back from work where you were
Literally.
really angry about life in the day?
No.
and then you hit the
I
block?
said it was in an unfamiliar area.
Did you enjoy it?
No, I was horrified.
I mean, I kind of enjoyed hitting a possum. That happened to me. I was driving a car.
Recently,
Okay, go
I
for it.
didn't hit anything. I drove over a skunk.
That was already ran over.
Yeah, didn't touch it. As soon as I passed over it, the smell of it just like consumed my car. I was on my way to work.
He burst the poison the poison gland, and it just like infects his.
I didn't touch the skunk.
You said you
No,
ran
he
over
drove
him.
back.
I
He ran out of
straddled
the
it.
car. And
Oh,
he
I ran
okay.
over it. I went to work, worked an 8-hour shift with an hour lunch. I get back in my car, and the inside of my car still smelled like skunk.
How'd you get rid of it?
Turned off the air circulation. Like,
And then
just
he died.
had
Did you do
to-
that in your garage when the door
Oh,
was
okay.
shut and leave the exhaust
No.
going?
no.
Oh, okay. We're not talking to Brian's ghost, who also inhabits his attic.
Yes,
That's
And,
amazing,
and who was
though.
consuming
living
Mexican
Brian
food
and dead Brian.
not 5 minutes.
I've never ran on over like an animal and not run it over. That's very interesting.
You make
know?
you make it sound like it's a conscious choice whenever you see roadkill to like make sure your tires go over it.
I was talking to, well, I hit a deer and that was awful. It was in the middle of the road and it was already dead, but I felt worse about it than hitting the possum. Although the possum incident, it was like 12 o'clock at night. I was driving down the road and this thing
Is it
was,
just
like,
because possums are ugly?
This thing waddles out in the middle of the road and it like there's a good minute. I'm not kidding, like a minute where it stops and looks at me and we made direct eye contact for like a minute while I was going forward. And I was like, there's no way I'm swerving, buddy. I'm too committed to this. Like, you gotta move. And he just didn't get it. I don't know if he liked me or whatever.
How slow
and
were
I
you
clipped
going?
his head. Oh, I was going quick. It had to be 70 miles an hour when I hit him.
I don't know
But it
how.
was-
A full minute, 70 miles an hour. This animal has made eye contact with you in your car. Was this at night?
Yeah, I was at night.
Okay, he doesn't know. He has no idea. He just sees a pair of headlights and he just like.
It
boom,
was so
dead.
bad because it was one of those situations where it's not just like an initial impact. It drug underneath my car for the next like 30
Ew.
seconds. So I just heard, and it was like, this is like,
Oh, that's terrible. So
I'm
wait,
like, this thing
wait.
is
So how come you didn't feel bad about hitting the possum, but you did feel bad about hitting the deer? Is it just because the possum is
disgusting.
ugly?
It eats trash and like
You
I
should
don't
like
know.
it then. You should like it then. It gets rid of your trash
Nah,
for
I-
you.
And it
It's
also
my
eats,
understanding
like,
that possums
garden
actually eat
vegetables.
ticks, don't they? Isn't that one of the main things that they?
Maybe I need to go to a
Devour?
psychiatrist to get rid of my internalized feelings regarding. The
No,
murder of Pop.
psychiatry is the one in which the practitioners are licensed to prescribe medicine, so they'd probably just give you drugs to like sedate you. The psychologist is the one who nominally will
I thought he
attempt
said
to walk
laxidate you.
What, sedate?
Laxidate.
That's the cure for like.
Well, liquidate. I would give you drugs to liquidate you.
I don't think laxidate's the word for it, but
I did hear a story from somebody at work who said that like
He's just really constipated. Is that why he hates them?
I really had to poop, man. I couldn't stop. I just had to keep going. But like I
didn't have the
somebody
runs.
work-
He had the drives.
I went out and I was taking out animals left and right. But my friend said that they were driving around in high school with a friend, and for some reason that night, the friend just wanted to hit animals. So there was
What?
one time where they were going like around a bend, and like literally it was on the left side of the road, and they were on the right side, and they turned the wheel completely around to hit the animal, and I'm thinking that's insane. I'm like, is that person a maniac?
That is the kid who is like a serial killer, like who is going to become a serial killer, and like the first thing he does is hit animals. He's just a very weirdly like people friendly psychopath. So he wants to bring other people down with him in his psychopathy.
In Fahrenheit 451, Guy Montag almost gets ran over by multiple people driving.
Spell Montag, please.
Or is it Montag?
Spell it, please. I don't know.
Is it Montaigne?
M-O-N-T-A-G.
Wait, say again.
M-O-N-T-A-G.
Oh yeah, Montag. That would be. I think that's just German for Monday.
Yep. But he basically, generally speaking, in the society in Fahrenheit 451, you use cars to like get around, but they're much faster than modern day cars, and there's no speed limits because it's kind of the society's kind of just
They drive
like
70 miles per hour at night.
Yeah,
running over possums.
But he can't get in the car.
They
but
sound
he's
like
walking.
futuristic Germans, and all the world's an Autobahn.
But he almost gets ran over because basically these kids try to run him over with their car when he's walking, because nobody walks anywhere anymore. That's why like people find it weird when he's walking different places, and so it's like a sign of their society degrading, because it's like, oh, wow, these kids like go out looking for things to run over, you know.
I'm sure that's what that guy was thinking of back in high school. He had just read Fahrenheit 451, and he was thinking that, wow, this is an incredible piece of American literature. I don't even know if it's American, but it's definitely a cultural touchstone, and I need to reify
Isn't it like Ray Bradbury
and reaffirm and reenact.
Or is that Catcher in the Rye?
It's Ray Bradbury. Yeah.
Not Ray
Ethan Bradbury?
Radberry.
I'm Ethan Bradbury. I'm Ethan Bradbury.
Is it Bradbury? What?
Brad.
Ethan Bradbury.
Bradbury.
You guys remember Ethan Bradbury?
Yeah.
No one.
So yeah, he's American.
Okay.
Wait, the guy who wrote Fahrenheit 451 or
yeah.
Ethan Bradbury?
Both. I don't know.
Ray Bradbury's American,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure the guy trying
Gene
to run over animals
Roddenberry's
is American
American.
also.
Gene Roddenberry's American.
Gene Roddenberry? Gene Roddenberry.
Roddenberry.
Gene Roddenberry.
Spock likes his milk.
He likes his rotten milk.
Roddenberry.
Gene
We're like word
Roddenberry.
association.
I got that
dairy.
part.
Rotten dairy. I know milk does not rot. It spoils.
Okay,
See,
but I got all that part. The part that confused me was Spock likes his milk.
That's what he said.
I know.
here's
I'm
a
not
question.
surprised that it's what he said.
If you were forced by the government to legally change your names, your first name, let's just say your first name, what would you change it to?
Change your name.
Like yeah, like by gunpoint. You can change it to whatever you want, so you still have that freedom.
Is there
But
any
you have to
reason?
change it.
Like, could I change my name to Brian with a Y?
No,
Oh, don't do that.
It can't be a variant of your existing name, and
it can't be
a nickname.
Ryan.
Yeah, they'd execute you if you did that. That's stepping out of line.
They would say, "Oh, you think you're cute? Well, I think this bullet's also pretty cute." Pow.
Yep. Or you'd go to the gulag.
Small.
I guess I
Or the
would.
gas chamber.
I see. Well, what is that voice?
What?
I would see. I would mess with them, and I'd say I just reverse my name. You call me
Oh,
Word
yeah.
now.
Sinaj. Bit like, no, but what would he change it to? Let's get some honest answers. I want some thoughtful answers.
Oddly, the first one that came to mind was Alexander, but I don't.
That's not bad.
Changing my own name sounds weird.
Actually, that was my choice. Also, was Alexander.
But your name starts with an A. You'd be
have
executed
it.
if you changed it to
What? Wait, no,
Alexander.
but that's not a variant of Andrew, though.
Okay, yeah, I just added a rule.
Alexandru.
Yeah,
I'd be the executioner who likes killing people, so I add rules. You know?
add rules like ex post facto, just like
Yeah.
Do this or I'll kill you. It's like
Yeah,
you were
like,
gonna
it's
kill
gotta
me
be a
anyway. You're an
Z.
executioner.
You should have known it's got to be a Z. You know?
Fine. I changed my name to Pinocchio. No fictional names. Bow.
It's got to be brand new. It can't be anything that's been used before, which I don't even know. Like, that's a question. How do people come
It's
up
like that
with
name
names?
ABCD, but it's pronounced ABCDE, but it's pronounced Absidy.
Imagine if society was in a vacuum, though, where you didn't have a previous name pool to pull from, and you just had to create names out
I mean,
of,
it'd
like,
have to be a
pool
pretty
of
big
letters.
vacuum to fit all of society in it.
Yeah, what is this guy talking about?
Also, technically, society isn't a vacuum. If like the Earth is in space.
I hate
Brian,
both of you. both of you have
And
like
by
the dumbest,
vacuum,
the
he
coldest
means-
takes.
By vacuum, he means Ziploc bag that's climate controlled by the government.
The Earth is flat.
Is it because Bill Gates
Your
put a
Earth is
bunch
flat.
of dust
You
into
get-
the
you get what I'm
atmosphere
saying?
that blocks the sun?
Yeah, I agree
So-
with Brian. Bill Gates put a lot of dust in the atmosphere to block the sun.
When are we going to the ice wall?
As soon as everyone takes the vaccine and accepts the microchip, you have to
Ice
accept the
wall?
microchip into your forehead. You need the mark of the beast.
You've never heard
Okay.
the concept of the ice
Otherwise, you can't buy or sell
No.
a ticket to go to the ice wall.
wall? Andrew, can you explain
the
what
ice
the
wall,
ice wall
Andrew?
is to Brian?
So the ice wall is Brian. Don't you know what the ice wall is?
Would I be asking if I did?
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you ask. I just heard Caleb. Caleb is oddly
Caleb's
quiet,
the one
but,
that brought
I,
it
but I
up.
just heard Caleb flailing around with his tongue. So the ice wall is in the canon of the flat earthers. The ice wall is actually the end of the world, and not in a existential sense, but rather sort of like a physical boundary. The Earth is flat, yes, but you
okay.
can't just walk off of it. There's this big wall of ice, and at either pole, it stretches. Because remember, the Earth's not round, so it doesn't extend to the entirety of the Earth. It's on this circular sort of thing. I guess it's like an oval, maybe more.
Yeah, oval.
But-
I'd say oval.
But there is this ovular wall of ice separating us from whatever is on the
The
other
void.
side. Because
The void,
vacuum
yeah.
of space.
Wait, what? What is on the other side?
The void or the vacuum of space.
Oh, okay. So
As far as my
that's the vacuum of space. So
Yeah.
that is actually
Hey, here's a
like a
question.
Ziploc bag. That is like the actual like seal preventing humanity from being sucked out into the vacuum of space and all of us from dying in it.
So I understand that.
I understand that like my very serious, straightforward rendition of it makes it sound like I believe in this stuff. That's because I do.
He does. Yeah.
So
The sun
tell me, Andrew,
revolves around
flat
us,
earther
correct?
Andrew. I understand that the gravity on a flat Earth is because it's moving so fast that it's applying, 9.8 meters per second of force on everybody. How does this affect, like, constellational movement? Not constellation, like the movement of the heavenly bodies. Like,
Oh, okay.
how do they explain that? I know they have explanations, but I don't think I've actually heard them, and I'm curious what they are.
So what's actually happening there is actually pretty interesting.
Like the sun. Sun is going around? Like, are we geocentric?
I've heard
no,
it's a
no,
flat
because
plane.
because even that kind of assumes that there is like see, it's more of like we're existing on a two-dimensional plane coming up. There's nothing underneath us.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
So what's actually happening is there is like a filter. there is a filter over that like spanning over. So it's like a dome. And it's spanning over the entirety of the Earth. And
Is it a projection
no, not a projection. Past the dome
or like
is
shadow puppets?
kind of like an inversion of that. Past the dome is just bright light, just pure light.
Yep.
So
Okay.
so what's actually happening is in this
You don't sound
filter
convinced.
that's shaped like a dome over the Earth.
Gotcha.
It-
It's
our-
a big
our
giant
holes-
blanket with holes in it.
Yeah, it's a big blanket with holes.
I thought
in
you
it.
were open-minded.
So
you sound
what's the
skeptical.
explanation of the moving holes?
Oh no, see
That's
that
not
those
an
are just holes
actual
for the light.
stationary blanket.
That makes
no,
sense.
it's not stationary.
Yeah, no, it revolves. I mean, everything's going in a circular.
No, it doesn't revolve. It doesn't revolve.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. It's flat.
There are no revolutions.
Yeah. No, it's
The
like a
revolution is
lazy
not
Susan.
geocentric.
It's like a lazy Susan. That's what I'm trying to get across.
Yes, and this would account
Oh wait,
for.
it is
it's a
like
lazy-
like it spins that way.
Yes.
It spins, but it doesn't revolve.
Right,
Thank
right,
you,
and
yes.
this would account for the supposed celestial trajectory of planets and stars, of
And
what we
everybody-
call planets and stars, but are actually just part of the big light.
Has anyone
behind
actually
the
worked that
filter.
out mathematically?
And
What? Wait, sorry, repeat that.
Has anyone
We're working
actually
on
worked
it.
that out mathematically?
I just worked it out conceptually. You don't need to work it out mathematically.
Did we need you for that,
It's
Brian,
one of-
actually?
It's one of those things where you have to wonder: is there anybody that smart that actually believes it?
Yeah, probably.
You know,
If
it's-
they do, they're probably not dumb enough to actually say that. That they believe it.
You see, this is
well,
is-
yes,
this
this
is
is
the
also
thing,
true.
though.
But
it's easier to control people
Actually, if they are really
believe
smart,
they're on a globe.
would it be a mark of their intelligence or stupidity that they do or don't say anything? Discuss.
They're intelligent. I think that marks intelligence because they're self-aware.
Which one? So they're self-aware that what they believe is stupid, and that
Yes.
makes them smart, and that makes them
Yes.
smart.
no,
Yes.
well, but it's one of those things. It depends on whether you think conspiracy theories could be.
The weird part about that one is it has no effect on how somebody lives their life. You could theoretically live a normal life and believe the earth is flat. You know? Like, how much is that going to change? Unless you get to the edge of the earth and then you're a little bit nervous. Like, when you get towards the polar ice caps, you're like, guys, we got to turn back. But besides that, you're good. If you're in a temperate climate, you're fine.
Here's another
Just kid-
question: what's the explanation for the curvature of the Earth? Like they don't believe in the curvature.
Yeah, there's
Well,
no
no,
curve.
That like
It is a distortion of light.
that
Yep.
ancient Greeks and I think it was a Greek in Egypt.
So the thing is, this is actually a distortion of light that's occurring. It's like, have you ever looked inside of like a body of water and you extend some
So
object?
the atmosphere is distorting the light.
Yes, basically. Actually, did you know? I'm going to give you an example of. Sorry, say again.
Andrew's definitely a flat earther. He's gone way.
Yeah,
too
I told you.
deep.
I said it sounds like I believe this stuff. It's because I do. So do you recall? There's actually an explanation of J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle Earth, and there was a question of like, so how come the elves can see so much farther than like the men and the dwarves, and the hobbits also? And the reason for that is because
Flat Earth.
no, there the Earth is actually round, which is interesting. And that's how you know it's fictional.
Because elves
However,
are tall.
well, no, the men were also tall.
They're just a little
They
bit
can look
taller than
past
see
it,
more.
yeah.
Hey, Legolas, how's the weather up there? I don't know. Gimli, how's the weather down there? What? Speak up. I can't hear you up there. So what's actually going on there was that Tolkien explained that due to the Numenorians, which were the ancient humans, or they're actually, I think they were actually called the Edain. The Edain, they actually fell from grace. I'm kind of paraphrasing. So any Tolkien buffs, feel free to rebuff me, or rebuke and refute me. But there was.
But still give us
That's not what
5-star
rebuff
rating
means.
on.
I know, I'm
so
being stupid.
what Tolkien basically explains is the elves still possess the magic to see that magical affinity to see through this sort of like fog that descended to the earth, mainly from Melkor, now Morgoth, boss of Sauron's kind of like degradation and depredations on the earth. And so basically what it is that elves are flat earthers. That's why they can see so far. Elves are flat earthers and everyone else isn't.
So it's like a metaphor.
It's like a metaphor, yeah. So Tolkien was explaining that the most pure race of intelligent
So
beings
flat
on Middle Earth.
earthers are elves.
Yes,
In
basically.
reality.
We are the superior life forms, and soon I will sail away to go to the Undying Lands, past the ice wall, and I will be admitted through.
You see, I don't even think that's the most
the
interesting.
way Andrew's like hunched over. Obviously, it's because he has to lean down to his microphone, but he like looks like he's like really taking it seriously. He's like,
I mean, I think Hollow Earth is more
the
interesting
poor
than
video
Flat
quality
Earth.
also helps.
I like the idea that there's a what is it called, a prehistoric ecosystem that exists if you go into the center of the Earth. That there's massive tunnel systems.
Wait, like center
lead-
of the Earth, like center of the oval disc thing that we're standing on,
Well,
or like
I don't. You see, are the theories incommensurate? Could you put them
or
together?
center
Could you be on a flat
the
Earth and then
volume
have
of-
tunnels underneath?
Incommensurate is not a word.
how thick is the
Please
planet?
correct me,
The planet disc.
Daddy Grammar.
How thick is it?
Yeah.
It's
I just
unknown.
said daddy and then you
We
said
haven't
that.
actually delved
That's not.
that far. I'm actually
Is
of
it,
the of
is
the
it
same.
like an optical illusion about how deep we can dig?
No. See, when Caleb was talking about it, the prehistoric ecosystem, I personally don't believe that's the case. I think what's happened. Excuse me. I think actually what is the case is that there are.
Sorry. Your video quality, it went so bad that your eyes were just two slightly darker spots
Well,
on
okay.
the tan splotch.
Well, okay. Well, technical difficulties aside,
Sorry, we're not supposed to reference visual
right?
elements. but
My personal belief is that instead of a prehistoric ecosystem, there's actually the remnants of a very technologically advanced ecosystem, and that
like the dinosaurs had guns.
No,
And that's how they got wiped out?
I think the dinosaurs were fake.
The
Those are made up.
dinosaurs enacted nuclear
the dinosaurs were
Dinosaurs
fake. They're
were
not
fake.
real.
on themselves.
The dinosaurs were fake. They're not real.
Oh.
They're
You need to
just
stop,
they are
Brian.
composite skeletons made by the government as a way to justify why they're the ones allowed to dig stuff
the
up.
bones
but
were
no one else
planted
is.
there
And
by
the
the rock
reason is
stars.
that
He's a Russian asset.
underneath the earth are the remnants of a very futuristic, advanced technological society, which was destroyed by infighting deep under the earth. And the government has access to these weapons, and they're very slowly doling them out, and they're using them. And
Why would
as
they dole
humanity,
them out at
as
all?
humanity is actually
Chemtrails.
progressing along technologically, they're trying to use it to keep one
Why
step ahead
just
of the
random
population, so
entrails?
that they can keep oppressing us. That's why we're not allowed to dig to the center of the earth. And when they say the earth is made of
why
is a
did they
molten
dole
core,
it out at all?
That's their
if they
cover
want to
story. That's their other
oppress?
cover story.
Andrew, we can't talk to him. He's an asset for the government.
Are you
have
calling me a
seen this?
fed? You
no,
call me a
not
glowy?
you. I'm calling Brian one. He's been
Brian's
skeptical
glowy?
of everything you've said. He's questioned everything. He has no idea of what the truth is. I think he's
I'm just
He's a
FBI
truth
informant.
seeker. He's a truth seeker.
Truth
That's the thing.
seeker.
The most skeptical will become the most ardent believers once converted.
Yeah, that's true.
If I can
Chemtrails
ever
are
shake
part
him,
of the.
if I can ever convince him to shake off his FBI handler.
I was gonna say the Wright brothers. Their aircraft design actually came from those subterranean tunnels. The aircraft.
No,
did not
the
exist
Wright
before.
brothers are a sterling example of the intelligence of the common man. It's the government. The government
They were
took their
government
great
shills.
idea and said, "Hey, this is our chance to introduce manned flight. We've had this for a while, but we could never
Oh, that's
justify it.
true.
Everyone would say it was witchcraft. Now we can actually do it because we can show the common people, hey, look, one of your own guys did this. So now we're going to do it, and we're going to use it for war."
That explains
That's
the
how we
Aurora
got it.
UFO incident. The Aurora UFO incident was actually a government aircraft that existed.
Oh,
prior
yeah,
to
for
the
sure.
Flight.
For sure.
Okay,
There's
Yeah,
no other
we're putting
logical
it
explanation
together.
for that.
we're putting it together.
You know,
so,
at
any
the beginning of
questions,
this...
Brian?
What?
Any
I have a
questions so
question.
far? Yeah.
Oh, what is Andrew's question? I
My
don't
question
have
is, when are you going to talk about that eagle story?
Oh yeah, the eagle feathers.
So-
But before we do that, let's see if Brian has
I
any
did want to
questions.
commemorate the attic because we're no longer in the attic
Why are you telling them that?
because the attic's in our heart.
I'm an atticer. I believe we're still in the attic.
Is that copyrighted?
Copyright U.S.
Oh
government.
wait. Let me.
Is that taps?
Okay.
So Brian, did you have any questions regarding my explanation? It was logically sound and airtight. I don't see why you would.
Was that a good
man.
commemoration of the attic, Brian?
Airtight. Let's see if this works.
I am tight.
Or do we need to whip ourselves and cry? Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Flagellation.
Did you guys hear the? Did you guys hear the
for
cheering
crying
and
for
clapping?
the attic?
No, I can
No.
hear nothing.
Okay,
You need to work on your soundboard.
here we go. This is Andrew's explanation. Airtight. Amazing. It's,
Jimmy Fallon.
it's a full 36-second long cheering.
Jimmy Fallon invite me on your show. I could
Standing
debate anyone else.
ovation.
I could debate anybody under the table. I have the receipts.
You can
They're
debate
in my head.
anybody under the table?
I could debate anybody under the table.
Is there even under a table?
Yes.
Is there
We
under
gotta
the attic?
determine that.
Well, yeah. I mean, the table is not the Earth. The table is flat, but it's not the
That
Earth.
was a. How good was this?
Oh no, I
performance?
accidentally started again. Okay.
Yeah, and that was the longest clapping sequence I've ever heard.
I
It's
deserved
kind of like
every
the one
second of
time
it.
that I
Every
went to
single
listen
clap
to
I deserved.
Valentino Lisitsa.
What?
The amazing piano concerto performance by Valentina Lisitsa of Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 3. Phenomenal. She when it was over, it was like standing ovation. She did an encore, standing ovation for the encore, second encore. It was awesome.
And then at the third encore, nobody clapped because she sucked.
Well, I was thinking that after the third
I think
encore,
we were hoping for a third encore, but
I was thinking that after the third encore, she grabbed the mic and said, "The Earth is flat."
probably she's a smart woman.
No, she
Yeah.
did that when the clapping started, so that basically it's like the Earth is flat. Oh, everybody supports me. Yep, that's what I do.
So Brian, do you have any questions or any other thing, or should we just go into Caleb's
I'm
story?
sure I've got more questions at some point, but honestly, the most quizzical one is are there any smart people that have mathematically figured the
Oh,
stuff out and still
I'm sure you
believe
can
it?
find. I'm sure you can find someone out there who.
There's plenty of people on
Math.
YouTube who are hyper intelligent.
They're on YouTube.
Who
How
have
intelligent could they
probably-
be?
I know,
So-
Andrew. It's a
oh,
joke.
I've
It's
got
called a
another
joke.
question.
Do you know what a
One-
joke is,
one
Andrew?
more-
I don't know if
one
you know
more
what a joke
question.
is.
I may have heard of that before.
One
I
more
think jokes are
question.
flat.
Wait. Jokes are flat.
That's gonna. You
oh,
have
wait, I
way too
wonder if I
much
can-
power. You
Let's-
have way
oh,
too
yeah.
much power.
Way too much.
All right, let's not
Brian
overuse
is
it for a
ascended.
second.
He is a god.
The voice of a man and
stupidest
not a
thing.
god. I mean, I'm sorry, I said that wrong.
Fancy new technology given to me by the government.
I knew your
A
government
clap
shill.
track.
A clap track. A clap trap.
Oh, it's a cheering track. This is the clapping.
More
one.
like clap back. Oh.
Wait, that wasn't you clapping, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. I'm
So Caleb, your story
oh, wait,
about.
I had one more question.
Oh, okay.
What was it?
Oh,
Is that the question? What is it? I don't know.
has anyone
Oh, it
even
had to
ever
do
gone
with-
so far as to look more like?
Brian.
Oh man, I can't remember. Oh well. Thank you for listening to this episode of Brian's Attic. And of course, a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you would like to support Brian's Attic, head over to patreon.com/briansattic or use the link in the description.